Hello. How do you do, everyone? Good afternoon from Abu Dhabi. I have 24 minutes before I need to be in a session, but I thought I'd come here so we can chat. In 2022 or 23, I think in 2022. Yeah, in 2022, or was it 23? One of them, a few years ago, a couple of years ago-ish. I was at work. We had just delivered. So again, those who have been here for a while, you were here when I had an office. I shared an office with the Fry and Alexis. You probably heard me call Hedy Kine. I told you that we were a power trio, 3 Black women, a Jamaican, a Black American, and me, who worked on a very important portfolio for our school. And one of the things, we were called the Digital Innovations Team. That was our actual designation. And our job was to revolutionize the school's digital program. We came up with the school's digital strategy. And the 2 things that we managed to, amongst other things, including staff scaling and the rest, there were 2 major accolades. Again, if you were here, we went to work. Our boss had sent us flowers, and I posted it here. I'll look for some of those things and repost them to the page as a reminder of that. When we finally got the Apple Distinguished School, which was something the school had favored for a long time, had aspired to do for a long time, it hadn't worked, and we had just finished it. We got them the NACE Award before we got the Apple Distinguished Award. And as soon as all the indicators suggested that this was going to be achieved and it was inevitable, the school began to let us know that we were not as much in their priority as we had been before. And going forward, I have no idea what happened with that. Going forward, we were going to get marginalized and it was going to get very difficult. I knew this. I used to predict this. I used to tell the girls what was to come. And when it began to spiral, we all knew what it was. Marsha was going. Alexis and I were going to stay. Well, in the end, Marsha and Alexis all went soon after this thing, and I remained. And somebody recently asked me, why did you remain? And I explained what I am about to explain to the rest of you today. I did not leave because I did not have freedom. And she's like, what do you mean? Well, I am a married woman, which most people think will bring freedom, but that alone doesn't. Yes, I'm employed. Most people think that will bring you freedom. That did not. Why didn't it bring me freedom? I had 2 children at that time. My children, I think my son was just about to go to university or had just gone to university, and our expenditure was beginning to swell. The boy was going to live in university accommodation. We were going to have to pay his accommodation and the rest of it, which was a new expenditure. And I had a daughter who needed to get through 6th form and make it to university on her own too. I could not quit my job. So the person says, so why couldn't you quit your job? Because I did not have an FU fund. Yeah. Both Alexis and Marsha, when they left at that time, did not have the same constrictions around their neck that I did. And so they were more in positions to be able to make decisions around their ability to go that I could not make. And it was such an effort explaining to this person why I couldn't. Bottom line is, they had FU funds, I did not. So what is an FU fund? Well, how many of you have guessed what an FU fund is? A full fund. FU exactly what you are thinking. That is what an FU fund is. An FU fund is an amount of money you have, which allows you to go into situations, especially in your workplace, where people disrespect you. And I have been disrespected so many times. I have stood in front of an employer who says to me, well, if you can't accept those terms, feel free to go elsewhere. And at that time, I did not feel free to go elsewhere. And she was actually brave to tell me that twice, because she knew that I am a family woman, that I have responsibilities that I take seriously, and that I am not going to be able to F her easily because I did not have FU funds in place. An FU fund is a very simple thing. Yes, I could have also gone for the knee jerk, and I could have made that decision, which I would have regretted. Because if you don't have an FU fund, you cannot tell your employers to F themselves easily. An FU fund, if you really know how to do this properly, should be an amount of money that allows you to be able to go 2 years without needing to earn money. And some people take these gaps sometimes to go look for a new job, sometimes to go build a business, sometimes to go take leisure. Yeah. So when Alexis left, she didn't leave this region immediately. She lived here in her nice villa. Actually, was one of these. She lived in one of these villas for over a year. She was not in bondage with any employer. She was just sitting, chilling, building her alternative business. And after a while, she decided she was moving somewhere else. Why was she able to do that? She had saved a pocket of money that she could fall on in order to cover her bases. And that pocket of money, which allows you to make decisions like that, which gives you the freedom to decide where you should and should not be, which allows you to walk when you are disrespected, is what an FU fund is. And no, don't go running into situations when you don't have an FU fund in place. So let's check some of the basic requirements of your FU fund. Your FU fund should be able to give you 2 years, 24 months. Even if all your plans don't work, even if you are not able to make a single dime from anywhere else, that your basics will be covered. And in order to figure out your FU fund, you need to sit down and figure out how much you live a year, how much you need a month, then how much you need a year, and how much you need for the 2 years that you would be needing to figure this out in the worst case scenario. So I calculated my FU fund 2 years ago when I saw the amount of money I needed to be able to tell people to F themselves. I quickly bought a wad of tape and I zipped my mouth because I was not in a position to F anybody. The amount I needed to be able to keep myself, my children, and my circumstances going without inconveniencing myself and other members of my family was large. It was huge. And so I left it. Still this year, my FU fund would be very high. So again, this year, I have made no knee-jerk reactions. I've had, again, many opportunities to make. Somebody was saying to me, well, it's not like you to be fearful. I'm not fearful. I am not fearful. I am just strategic. I am realistic in understanding what needs to be done. I'm not afraid. I am just conscious of what needs to be done so that everybody's well-being is maintained, including all of us. All of us. Hey, some of your names are in alphabet I can't read. I think it's Chinese, but hi. How you doing? Yeah. Okay. You know, I realized that I can start building an FU fund starting from about September 2026, typically. Or I can start doing some things now to clear some of the things I need so that I might be able to do it maybe May, June 26. Why does that time loom? May, June 26th is when our first child graduates. He finishes. And when he finishes, we no longer have school fees, responsibilities towards this young man. And this young man, we will now need to work on establishing, but what used to pay his fees will now come off our bills. For the next year, we will still have one young lady who is sitting, spending our money in university, but that's only one child. And some of the money that used to be Hills, how you doing? Some of the money that used to go into his fees. Obed, it's been a long time. Hey, how is my daughter? I'm sure by now she's a big girl. Hey, I wouldn't even recognize her. Yeah. And so this is a great time for me to start looking for my FU funds. Because if I am able to start putting my life in order, if I am able to save money and to put some of these monies into investments, especially into investments that are self-generating, self-sustaining, so that what I will be getting is monthly dividends from these investments, then I would be able one day to look into my bank account and find that I have enough money to give me 2 years to go and build any business of my choice and to grow it to any extent. And at that time, I will pick my bag. I will thank any employer I have then very much. Or if I don't leave completely, I will be looking at negotiating maybe part-time working hours, reduced working hours, so I can focus on this. But for me, what is likely to happen will be a whole exit from the whole employee situation to go into a full-time entrepreneur situation. And that is what I propose that we all do together. Start working to make enough money to give each one of us 2 years where we don't earn and we don't have any financial challenges. We are able to meet our obligations. In those 2 years, if a new job is what we want to find, we can find it. If those two, it's retraining that we need to do, we can retrain. If in those 2 years we need to start businesses, we can start those businesses. So that is an FU fund. And an FU fund for each person is going to be different. Obed is a man with very young children. He has a wife. Obed will need to sit down and do his calculations and make sure that the money he's calculating is able to cover everybody in his network. The amount Obed needs is completely different from me. Somebody like me, my monthly expenditure is going to reduce incrementally over the next few years. Yeah. Typically at this time, I would have been traveling, entertaining children, going here, coming here. I have no children, so no such bill. And so my FU fund is likely to be achievable quicker. I think my FU fund is going to be generated in new income through the businesses that I'm going to work on in December. And any monies that are coming into my system, Sister Margaret and Ofa Johnson, Thomas, I greet all of you. Abubakar, Assalamu alaikum. Mami Amaska and Mariam Mature, how are you doing? Dada, how are you doing? Yeah. Every money I make needs to go into my investment portfolios so that I would be able to look into my bank accounts and my savings accounts and find at least the minimum I need to survive every month for 2 years. We will be here planning. I'm just throwing it here. How many of you need an FU fund too? How many of you need an FU fund and don't have one? If you need an FU fund and don't have one, do you have the income streams to be able to bring it in? How many of you need to work on your income streams in order to stream the additional income that can start funding your FU fund? How many of you can earn those additionals from your inheritances and from other people who will give it to you? You are the lucky ones. How many of you need to work on it and find it yourself? If you are one of those people like me, you are Rasbecca, come and join me. We will be sitting here working on various plans and trying different strategies all through the month of December. We will try different things, we will learn different things, and then we will start launching them from the 1st of January. The 1st of January, nothing needs to be perfect, but we'll be hitting launch anyway. Launch. Anything we can launch will be launched. And then we will see for 1 week what information we get from our launches. If the information suggests that it was good enough to keep going, we keep going. If the information suggests that it wasn't good enough and requires refinement, we refine. And we will launch and refine, and hopefully, if we try one income stream and it's only streaming in little drips and drabs and we need more, we will launch. So in my case, I have calculated and realized not one small strategy is going to be able to get me my FU fund. So we are going to fire them out like missiles in January. And so we will need to get the missiles and the artillery ready to go. And that is what we will start from tomorrow. You can see that I am sleepy. Really, I should fold in and sleep. But in order to get my FU fund, there is a class that I need to run in 7 minutes so that they can give me some money that can go and pay for something that can also then be used to make something else and earn more money as part of my FU fund. But ladies and gentlemen, write it down. We are going to make enough to create an FU fund. And I have so many groups and initiatives that we are going to use to do that. And you will be invited to self-select and join appropriate groups. Yeah? Mwah. See you soon.